one thing led to the next, and I was just super excited to do it. Kiki, of course, if you run into her, get her because she's amazing.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Taya and this is Lil Branches Crossing. Today we're going to be playing around with themes. I did a video like this last week if you want to go check out how I plan the islands in more detail, but this week we're just going to jump right in. A lot of you guys requested on the last video that we explore Towncore / City Core, and I was really excited to see Towncore on there because I've been very inspired by that lately. My first island of Glenny was very much like Towncore vibes, so it didn't have a specific theme, but it really was very Towncore-like. I thought for this island design that we would bring in a little Farmcore flair. We just got a whole bunch of new crops released. I wanted to design an island specifically that had space set aside for crops, for farms. We're going to take a look at some of the new items to incorporate them into our items mood board. If you have any ideas for anybody else who might be thinking of doing this theme, I would love it if you leave them down below in the comments so we can kind of keep this conversation going and this can be like a living, breathing video. So let's just jump right into it. I've already saved out a lot of custom designs from Pinterest. Here are the different road paths that I found. Of course, the most popular one right now for any kind of city or town core, especially a fall kind of town core, is going to be this lovely path by Colindar Crossing, who is just like crushing it with all of his custom designs. So definitely highly recommend going and checking out Colin on Instagram. I also found two other road designs. I feel like take up a few less design slots because they do not run diagonally. So if you are looking to take up less design slots with your road pattern, so the one is by Tropicitch and the other one is by Gayomori 8. And I think that they're both great choices for your town core roads. I think having just a standard brick path that you can use is quite flexible as well. You can break it up, you can use it as just a standard brick area, or you can use it patchy as a path through an area. And I also have a little plank path here as well that you can use. And the other one that I feel is quite useful on any island, but especially on a more farm island, is a dirt path. So I found this dirt path, which I think is absolutely gorgeous. This one has just a really nice fall vibe. I love the defined edges. I also did find some little flower designs to put in between different things, little accent pieces. I think that they're super special and cute for town core. Of course, we have to have some barn patterns, some more wood kind of textures so you can make a barn or two, as well as even just in your town area, maybe you want to have the town feel more like it's out in the country. So I included some of those in this collection. You have to have a couple of blankets, so I got some blanket edges, some different blanket patterns for you, maybe some blue accents to play off the red. So nice. I found actually quite a few umbrellas, so I'm including a hay umbrella, some fruit umbrellas, and even these paper bags. These paper bags are so cute, as well as these bakery boxes, which I did use on my first island as well. Now on to some inspiration shots. Now this shot is clearly taken with a wide angle camera in Animal Crossing, which you can only do with a modified switch, but I feel like this just feels so quaint. We've got the canal running down the middle. We're just making the best use of all those bridges. You know, we have more bridges, we can do more with them now. And I just love how the villager houses are actually up on a second incline, but still running along that one area. So you just feel like you're in this cozy little space. This just speaks to me so much. It's a little on the elegant, again, a little on the European side, but I think the mix of pathing that they have going on here, the little cozy benches right outside of resident services, you see KK's face popping out of a fountain, which is hilarious to me, but I think this is really cute and town core as well. Having a little soccer field that's kind of overgrown is really suited for town core, and I feel like that would fit in perfectly if you even have just a small space that you can dedicate to doing a little soccer field build. I love this little soccer field so much. It's so cute. And we gotta have some farm inspo here too. I love the mix of horizontal and vertical farm areas with the little kind of garden shed on the left there. This is very simple, but I feel like you could do so much with this basic idea, these 4 corners, and then just angling the farmland in different ways. So this is definitely an inspo pick for like the Farmcore Towncore aesthetic. Here we have a little neighborhood build, but I think the spacing of the houses is really clever here. There are different trees of different heights, and one of them is actually set back from the other one here, and we have bushes, and we don't have bushes on this side, so it feels very natural. And I love what's going on back here because it kind of like leads you towards it, like what's this phone booth situation all about. I put a little post office in with this inspiration. I think this is super cute. Definitely need a post office in a Towncore island. Sometimes the museum can look like super elegant and like it wouldn't fit in with a small town, but I think doing the double benches outside with the little bird bath in the middle, absolutely just quaint and adorable. Now that we have a couple of builds in mind and we have a little bit more inspiration on the paths to go on, we're gonna work a little bit on the map. So just like last time, I'm going in and erasing a lot of things. Now in this one, I figured, you know what, I'm gonna leave the river mostly natural and just have this one space of canal. And I was trying to like get it started, and then I thought I was gonna restart because that wasn't working out, but I just decided to move resident services over slightly. And I think the only thing that you would have to think about if you were choosing a map, if you actually wanted to recreate this map, you would only have to think about having resident services far enough away from the river inlet so that you have enough room to place this neighborhood around that canal area without getting in the way of resident services, if that makes sense. So I really loved that first inspo pic that we looked at with like the 2 sides and the canal down the middle with the villager houses up on the next level. So I'm trying to create that, and then I went crazy with the terraforming up on the top there, and I was like, I would never want to do that amount of terraforming. That's ridiculous. So I just removed it, and I decided also that it'd be nice to have some flat land kind of around the left-hand side of the island and kind of split it into halves. So like the right-hand side of the island is more built up like a town, the right to middle area, and then the left side is more open and farmy. And I do remove some of the inclines on the left-hand side there to make space for more farmland area. But I was trying to figure out how I was going to do this shopping district. And I end up moving Nook's Cranny down to the first level of the island to make more room for farms and things like that, because I've also forgotten at this point about the museum. So I will add that in a second. And we've got a kind of a tiered neighborhood, but in a different way, kind of like a T. And here I go again, trying to make 11 villagers happen on an island. I realized that and deleted one, and I'm trying to place the museum somewhere where I can make it quaint. I wanted a little bit more water terraforming because water terraforming is one thing that I know is proven to help with item lag on your island. And if you're running through your island and you're feeling a lot of lag, something that I've found is helpful is putting more water terraforming on your island. But I hope with the new update that that's one of the things that's kind of repaired, because we are getting a lot of new items and some of them look to be animated items as well, like the windmill. So I hope that they're going to be combating the lag on the island a little bit, because that can get quite intense. And I have maxed out all of the inclines on this island design right now, which I love so much that we have 2 more. And just trying to add in a little bit more of that water terraforming, like I was saying, so that kind of combat the lag a little bit, because I feel like with Towncore, you end up having areas that are quite dense with items. I love a cluttered island anyways, but it just gets a little bit hard to walk through. I'm dealing with that right now on my Canada Core island, but we are pretty much done with the design here. Okay, so I may or may not have gone a little overboard with this map, but somehow I got incredibly into it and I just kind of like
one thing led to the next, and I was just super excited to do it.
I just kind of wanted to play around with a mix of this built up city with like multiple levels of interest and bridges and inclines. There is still an adequate amount of space for farming with whatever you want to do it. I just put in these random markings to denote like approximately where you would do farms, but because there is so much open, just flat land, I think it's really cool to be able to experiment with that. And I mean, I just kind of left the campsite back here and thought you could make like a really deep forest back here. But you could also put ladders down behind your house so that you could get to the secret beach and to the campsite quickly because it's still really close to your house. I actually fell in love with this design so much more than I was thinking that I would, and I hope you guys like this one too. Let's now move on to some villagers for our little town. So as I said before, this is my favorite place to go to just see the villager exteriors. I can't wait to see the new villagers, what their houses look like. So I'm just going to start taking screenshots of villagers and their houses. So I really love Agnes. Her house is quite dark, but I'm gonna save her anyways, and I'm just gonna keep going down through this list, and I'll catch you back when I have an assortment. So the main thing that I'm doing when I'm going through this list is trying to find villagers that would suit the theme, but also like ones that I like, ones that I haven't had on islands before, although I did gather some that I have had on previous islands, especially Glenny. I don't know why the Glenny OGs were really standing out to me, but then once I have them all screenshotted, I love this site because it also has their personalities there, so you can actually see what personalities you're gonna have on your island. And what I do in Photoshop, as you can see I'm doing, is I sort them into like different piles based on their personality. And then I take the whole thing and I shrink it down so that they're all the same size. And I'm trying to shrink it down enough so that I can fit 4 on one line together. And then I'm just going through and literally just sorting them out and putting them by personality. And I noticed that I had a lot of normal villagers, so I ended up chopping some of the normal villagers. And I had a lot of snooty villagers, so I ended up getting rid of some snooty villagers as well. If you have any other suggestions for villagers for a Farmcore / Towncore island, please leave them below in the description. But these are just the ones that I would choose personally if it was my island. So this is our list of villagers. I did nix a few that I thought were still really good for Towncore, but I just want to keep the list pretty tight. I don't want to get a lot of like extra fluff like
Kiki, of course, if you run into her, get her because she's amazing.
But I just didn't include a lot of them on this list. They're not all farm animals, but they're mostly farm animals. Anchovy and Fang are the really only non-farm animals, but I think they still work with the whole aesthetic. So yeah, here are our villagers for our Towncore island. The next thing that we need to do is we need to look at some items on Nookazon and create our items mood board, which is where it all starts to come together. You start to get a good feeling for what the island is going to look like. However, we have the new update upon us, and I need to look at a list of at least all the new furniture that we know about. So on my items mood board, I'm going to include items that I can see in these images here, as well as ones from Nookazon. Let's get started. So I found a list of screenshots from all of the things that everybody has found in the direct, and I will leave a link to that spreadsheet down below so you can go check it out if you would like, and you can submit some items if you see some that are not in this list. I highly recommend going and checking out because it was super fascinating to look through, but I just gathered some screenshots and then I headed over to Nookazon to collect the rest. The nice thing about Nookazon is that they are all PNG format, which means they all have transparent backgrounds, and it's super easy to place them on a image together and just to save them out into one spot on your computer and then to drag them into whatever kind of image editing software you want to use. For me, that is Photoshop. Photoshop and I gather in all of these items and I just kind of try to arrange them in a way that makes sense with their colors. So I'm kind of putting all of the Towncore things in the bottom right, and then putting some of the more like natural items for the farmy areas around the left hand side and like through the top and that kind of thing. If you do end up making your own items mood board, I'd highly recommend that you include flowers in your mood board, because those can really help to tell a story of a color scheme that you're going to go with, because flowers really can help you to develop that color scheme. All right, so with a little bit of work, we have our items mood board for our Towncore / Farmcore island, and I love this. I know there's many more items that I could, of course, add to this list, but for just a quick proof of concept for how this island would go, combined with our other mood boards, I think we have a great head start on this beautiful Towncore / Farmcore island. I will gather all of these images and references together in one place and put it down in the description below if you are interested in doing this theme. Let me know if you are, and if you have any further ideas for anybody who might be trying out this theme, please leave them in the comments below. Thank you so much everybody for watching today, and I will see you in the next one. Bye everybody!